Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cat Chat. I am Chris Wallace.
And I'm Jenna Linusars.
Hi, Jenna. How are you?
Hi, Chris. Welcome to April.
Big old April. We ready for Cat Chat again. We got a lot of good information coming out. And,
this is our next to last episode of the school year. I know. Chris gets so emotional during this time of year.
My lip.
Not the quiver.
The quiver. Well, yes, sad, but also happy because we'll be working towards summer vacay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our teachers in our building are definitely counting the days, as well as our kids, as our students.
And obviously, we are missing Zoe today. She is in the thick. You don't have to call her out like that.
Zoe!
She's in the thick of her senior year, obviously getting ready for graduation. So she's got a few more things going on today. Yeah. So, Zoe, we miss you. We will see you next month for your last episode. In honor of.
Miss you, Zoe. We miss you.
Well, we have a few buildings to shout out for our high five highlights. Chris? One more for Zoe.
All right. Well, one of our first high fives I want to talk about is Kenwood Elementary.
Okay.
They had a parent lighthouse meeting, and they put it out for parents to show up. And a lot of the times we struggle with parent participation. Mm-hmm. And they had 25 parents show up for this, and many of them want to be volunteers in our school district.
That's
so
awesome.
We're going to work and figure out how to get them all situated and vetted. And I'm excited for Kenwood to have such parent involvement and engagement. So high five to Kenwood.
Hey, we've got spots for all of you parents.
You forgot the high five.
Oh, man. See,
high five
not here and I'm off.
High five to Kenwood. All right. Okay. Now what?
Listen, I'm off. I'm in the wrong seat.
That's all right.
It's my fault.
It's
my fault.
We're about to talk about parents if they still want to get involved, right? That's what we're doing.
We have a spot for all the parents who want to be involved, right?
Yes, we do.
Every single one of them. We've got a spot. We've got a role.
Yes.
So we'll take 25, 50.
Yeah, we do what, the more the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have all kind of things for you guys to do. So we volunteer once every month, the last Tuesday of every month. So look us up on our school website, the district website, and they'll give you those dates. And come on in.
Awesome.
Let's get after it.
Cool. Well, speaking of the summer, we have about 30 kids who are going to be participating in the Greater Springfield Partnerships internship program this summer. 30.
Wow.
Yes. Which is about half of the number of total students that they have for the whole program. So it's open to all Clark County students. You may remember Caitlin Tyler was on here a couple months ago talking about the program. In our district, since we're obviously the best, represents about half of their total student makeup for this program.
That is great.
And that's a huge increase from what we were having last year. So to have 30 kids, high school age kids, get in there with different careers and business partners and really be paid is going to be an awesome experience for them. So I'm really excited. Great job to all of you who took this opportunity and wanted to apply.
High five to our SCSD kids.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Excited to see how that goes for them.
Right.
I don't know about you, but all of my internships were unpaid.
Yeah. I never got
a big old nothing.
Yeah.
And I certainly couldn't do it here.
That's awesome.
So.
Kudos.
Okay.
What we have next?
All right. Our third high five highlight.
Number 3.
This one makes me a little queasy, a little shaky, Chris, because Schaefer brought over some snakes, reptiles. There was a tarantula over from Madhouse Serpents, and they did this as a student reward one day. I don't know. It doesn't feel really rewarding to me, but... And this thing, it was in the little cage, and it was just crawling up the side of the cage. I was like, no, thank you. No. But they put the snakes on the table for the kids, and, they were kind of backing up out of their seat. But they got to see some animals that they normally wouldn't get to see.
Awesome.
So
I've got to see a snake eat a mouse before.
I hate that for you.
I used to feed them in high school. In North, yes. When we would walk in, there was a bunch of room, a big room of mice, and they'd be screaming when we walk in. And then there'd be, but you had to have a glove, and you had to keep shaking it, constantly trying to get away. And then when you drop it in the snake cage, it'll stop. It'll get quiet, but it never worked for them. You can be as quiet as you want. So shout out to the snakes and Schaefer and
The Schaefer snakes.
Shout out to Schaefer. High five. All right, moving on.
Who's our fourth high five?
Braylon Keys, my man Braylon Keys on the track team this spring. He broke a meet record at the Troy Invitational in Troy, Ohio.
Nice.
In the 110 hurdles. I think he ran a 14.8, which broke that record. So young kid, up and coming. Remember that name. A lot of people are going to be seeing him in the spring and next fall. He's very fast.
Cool.
Very fast. He plays football as well. So shout out to him and his hard work, and a great student. Not only is he good in athletics, but he's even a better person. So shout out to him, and shout out to his parents for raising such a great kid. So high five to Braylon Keys.
Okay. Who are we rounding out with?
Well, we're rounding out with some SOI students and the carpentry kids who come over on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Half of them weld, and another half goes in the wood shop. And specifically what they're doing in the wood shop, they are building, and don't get my words wrong, I'm not the professional one there, but I know what they're doing. They're building basically a pod or a shed with a sink and a restroom and a bed for homeless. And I think there's a spot somewhere out in New Carlisle where they take care, and they send a pod out there and take care of women who've been in situations, abused, trafficked, and they need a place to stay. And our kids at SOI are coming over here to the Dome and building a facility that one of these women can occupy. So shout out to the SOI carpentry crew.
Absolutely. Well, that is all 5 high five highlights. Don't forget, everybody, you only have now 2 opportunities, April and May, to get that cat swag pack for the school year. So don't miss out on that. Make sure you email podcast@scsdoh.org before anybody else so that you can get the cat swag pack. Now, speaking of SOI students, they're actually going to be on the show today.
Oh, yeah?
Listen, we could have a permanent spot for them on this show, right?
Shout out to Kathy Lee and crew. Y'all do a phenomenal job over there.
Yes. So we're going to have a few students who recently earned their certification for drone piloting.
Okay.
Drone aviation. They are just getting more and more students who are interested in this and who are getting the necessary certifications.
Yes.
And so we're bringing them on, seeing what got them interested and what they are going to do from here, because obviously it just opens up any amount of doors, right? Once you get that certification, you can go out into the world and do whatever. So I'm interested to sit down with them and see what they have to say.
Awesome. Can't wait. And then we got what?
Who's coming on the alumni segment today?
My man Par Toliver. Music extraordinaire.
Yes.
Alumni of Springfield. Can't wait to talk to him, see what he's been doing. I can't wait to hear about him as a kid. I know him as an adult. I can't wait to ask some questions about what was it like walking through, the school buildings around here in Springfield, and then maybe catch you guys up with what he's doing now and how you can maybe book him for a great show.
Maybe he'll play us a little song.
Oh, if he do.
Maybe.
I might have to sing. DJ Fresh, I might have to sing if he come out here and play now.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think he can come on here and not play. But
he's probably gonna have to blow something. Yeah, he's bad. He's a bad man with the music game. So can't wait.
All right, and then we are finishing it off with kind of a spring into summer, if you will, talking about all the stuff that we are offering here in the district when it comes to our food program, and then summer opportunities here at the Dome for all of our kids to get into. Those are open to anybody in the community. And so that's going to be our community segment today. Excited to sit down with everybody and talk more about those details.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Cat Chat April. coming at you. Hey everybody, welcome back to Cat Chat. With me today, I have two students from the School of Innovation and their drone instructor, Mr. Perrine. Welcome back, Mr. Perrine. This is not your first appearance. I want to let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Ace Fields.
I'm Adriana McClure.
Perfect. And what grade are you in?
We're both in 10th.
Yes.
Awesome. And we have these guests here today. Very exciting. Thank you so much for sharing the news with me that they are part of 3 students who recently earned their drone certification with you guys at the School of Innovation. So congratulations to each of you.
Thank you so
Very
much.
exciting. First, Perrine, I want to ask you a little bit about just how it feels as the educator to watch this program grow, obviously something that's very close to your heart, and to see them achieve this goal.
I just enjoy it a lot because the drone class is something different. It's a lot of information to go through. But what's really cool about it is whether they're going to use this right out of high school or later on in life, it really will connect to so many different fields. And the other fun part about it is that you get to kind of walk the students through the critical thinking process because this is a different, again, type of curriculum. So I just enjoy watching that, watching them learn how to do it, and then watching those achievements of them and just the excitement they have. So it's very fulfilling in that way too.
So for the two of you, tell me a little bit about your interest in this field and this program. Was this something you have always been interested in? Did you kind of find you were interested in it later? How did it come about for you? Ace, why don't you start?
I always found drones interesting, like flying and stuff and all the pictures they took. I found them very cool. So I've always wanted a drone. And then when Mr. Matt came to me last year saying, hey, you want to be part of the drone program? I'm like, sure, I would love to. And yeah, I've just always wanted to do stuff with drones.
That's awesome.
So my grandpa is actually a pilot and he was in the Air
Cool.
Force for a while. So I've always just found like flying in general just very like intriguing. And I didn't know that there was a drone program until last year when he asked me to, join the drone class. And I was like, okay, I know like it can like open your mind to a lot of different like fields and stuff. And I know I want to go to college and I think it would be very beneficial. So
That's awesome. And it's cool to hear both of you talk about kind of 2 different industries related to drones, right? Like your grandpa has this background with military drones, and then you kind of heard about drones from like the photography side of it and all of the things that it can do in that nature. So, just understanding their perspective when it comes to all of those things. I think that's really awesome to hear both of you have, different perspectives there. What surprised you the most when you started getting into your drone coursework, where you were like, I had no idea that I would be learning this type of thing?
I'd say maybe like the times. That was definitely something complicated and new because like I just always thought like they'll use the same time that like you always use, like at least America uses. But
So when you say the times, what do you
like
mean?
Zulu, like military time.
Okay.
Everyone like they all use like the military time,
Sure.
24-hour clock instead of like AM and PM and whatnot, since not everyone in the world uses it. And it surprised me and was kind of actually complicated for me to understand at first. But when I did, it's actually quite easy to understand it now.
Adriana?
I would say the airspaces. I've always thought like drones were like kind of like something you can use for like, well, in the beginning I thought you could use them for like for fun. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know like it had like a whole different like field attached to it. Like you can really do anything with them. And I didn't realize that like there's certain airspaces like near like airports where you can't use drones. I thought that was very interesting.
So tell me a little bit about your first experience flying one. The first time you were ready to put a drone in the air, what was that like for you? Did it go well? Was it successful?
I was very nervous because I didn't want to crash and end up breaking it. So I was definitely like more slow in flying it, but I did fly it well. But I just had to like go slow and stuff and like make sure I'm flying the drone correctly.
How did it feel after you had landed?
I felt relief. I'm like, I didn't crash it. So I felt relief.
How about you, Adriana? And when was the first time?
My first time was last year. I used it for a project in world history, and um, it was something about the Berlin airlift, and I used the drone to actually drop a little care package into a basically like a little like cup and like a on
Cool.
like a table. So that was the first time. I was very confident in myself, honestly,
Yeah.
but very nervous still.
Did you think that there would be kind of so much coursework and so much lead up to the actual flying?
Yes,
Yeah.
I definitely thought so.
I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand, right, that there is all of this background information that you need to know before you can just take it up if you want to do it as a profession and things like that. So, as you guys kind of move forward, obviously you've gotten your certification. How exciting! What was that process like as far as taking the certification test? You know, were you nervous? How were you feeling?
I was definitely nervous, like the day of the test, because like I understood all the material or like most of it when we were doing the practice and reviewing. But the day of the test, I was just so nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna forget all of this. I'm gonna fail. I didn't really believe in myself, but when I saw my score and I passed, I'm like, I did so much better than I thought I was.
Yeah, it just kind of all came to you.
Yeah.
Yep, you were in your element.
Um, so it was very nerve-wracking personally. I actually had to take it twice. The first time I did not pass, I failed by a single question. And I just felt like very like down about it. Like I honestly wanted to give up and not like pursue the career
Yeah.
anymore. But everybody, I mean, including Mr. Matt, he talked me out of it and told me to retake it. So I ended up doing it and I passed the second time because I mean, I think the second time I truly believed that I would be able to pass, and the first time I didn't at all. I just doubted myself a lot.
So I need to know, what was your first thought or who was your first phone call when you found out that you did pass?
It was my mom. I told my mom first.
I texted me and my siblings have a group chat, so I
Mhm.
texted my siblings and I told them that I failed the first time. And
Mhm.
my sister was kind of like, like it's okay, like it happens, like but just someone as like as a student, I've always had straight A's and just being able to fail something that I was like so like passionate about, it really like hurt my self-esteem. So
Sure.
it like put me down a lot, but she helped me talk out of it and she made like basically was saying like she would pay for it and everything. Like I really appreciate my sister for that. But I ended up retaking it and then again I told her I passed and she was like, I know you could have done it. And
Awesome.
yeah.
So she was kind of there to see you full
Yes.
circle.
Yes,
That's
she
awesome.
was.
So where do you guys maybe see this taking you in the future? Do you see maybe pursuing a career with drones, or, just having the knowledge of it? Where do you think you'll go?
I plan to join like the police force and doing stuff with that. And so
That's cool.
Mr. Matt was telling me how drones can be used for like missing persons. And so like I could survey the areas with the drone and look for missing people, or if someone's like in a getaway car or something and they're
Mhm.
driving, I could use the drone to follow them.
That's awesome. Really unique career.
I plan on going to college for veterinary, so I think that I would be able to use my drone certification as like a research thing for like my professors and stuff. So, um, that and also during the summer, I plan on trying to do like yard work with it as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I need to know, Perrine, again, seeing the last class to come through and seeing those kids get their certification and just seeing the program build, where do you want to take this next? Where do you see it going in the next couple years?
So these students, the ones we've had and then the ones that I have now, have really helped build the program. So what's really cool is they're going to be next year part of the first class to go through what's called level 2. It is a like maintenance and manufacturing course. So they're all going to actually get credentialed in that, to where they're going to learn the components of how to like keep things stored right, all that, but also how to do minor fixes. And I know we talked to the Ohio Department of Transportation, and if a student has that ability, they can get a job in the summer, get a job right away if they know how to do those minor maintenance on drones. So that's one direction we see it going, but we're also trying to connect them to as many different career fields as possible. So like with ACE and with Adri, we actually, the district bought us a new, what's called a Skydio drone. So Ohio Department of Transportation, firefighters, police departments, and colleges all use this different platform. We have certain drones, but because these are American-made parts and American-made drones, that's what the government and a lot of businesses are moving to. That Skydio platform, they're going to get experience with that. And then our goal is to have them have all these different platform experiences so they can go to any career and say, hey, I have all this experience with all these platforms. But then also the second part of what they're going to do next year is hopefully connect them to someone to almost do an internship with or a job shadow with. So that's kind of where we see it going. We want them to have as much hands-on experience, see as many things out there as possible. We're hopefully going to have somebody come from Ohio Department of Transportation to speak. Next year, we're hoping to get them to Joby Manufacturing over in Columbus. I know I've got to go on a trip to Beta Technologies, which is out here at our Springfield airport. So it's really, there's so many new technologies and possibilities that are coming with unmanned vehicles, not just that are in the air, but even ground ones, that I want all the students to have as much hands-on experience with those different platforms. So whether they go to college or they're going into a career, they can say, this is the experience I have, and this is how it translates to what we're doing in this profession.
I think it's fantastic. And especially, with these two both being sophomores, still so much time to build, right? They're not even leaving us yet. So I think that's really exciting. Anything else to add before we kind of sign off, guys?
I don't believe so. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Congratulations again. It's really great to watch all of you succeed in this way. And we're always going to be cheering you on. Perrine, as always, fantastic job. And we'll be right back with more Cat Chat.
Welcome back to Cat Chat. I'm your host, Chris Wallace. And in this segment, we have our featured alumni segment. And I have the legendary, the legendary Mr. Par Toliver. He has a couple different names, but Par is what we're going to use today.
All right.
How are you, sir?
Doing just fine.
Man,
Doing
it's
good.
such a pleasure. I found out I was getting to do this interview, and I was like, I got a little nervous here.
Oh, Lord.
I got a little nervous. So, welcome, man, and you're a staple of this community. I follow you. I see you cutting ribbons for different businesses and being around. I'm just like, wow, he's all over the place. So I'm inspired to be like you one day around here. So I'm trying.
You're trying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how are you, man?
Doing good. Can't complain.
Good,
Can't
good.
complain at all.
Good. Well, this is our featured alumni segment, and we like to tell our viewers, we like to bring people on who has been a part of this community, who's walked these same streets as some of our youth who are watching, and just kind of give them a flashback down memory lane,
Lord, okay.
Back down memory lane, see if you could paint a picture.
Paint a picture. All
Yeah.
right.
So what was it like as a young man? You went to, was it South or was it Springfield?
South.
South. So you went to South High School. What was it like coming up, being in high school here? And, what was it like your first year going into high school, and what was going on through your head? And what's your visualization now of that first year in high school?
Well, my first year most definitely was exciting and fast. From middle school to high school. We called it junior high school instead of middle school.
Okay. Junior high school, right?
But I was in sports, so that kind of helped put a little more things in perspective for us, because they had an agenda for us.
Right.
Being in sports there. So starting out with football, and then I went to basketball. But I also had a band back in the day.
Okay.
So we were pretty busy with that, but we also did things for the high schools.
Okay.
A number of the schools around, as far as
So
their proms and those kind of things.
You was playing
Yeah.
in middle school?
No, I've been playing since middle school, yes, but in high school it became a little more. We started doing more things with the high school,
Okay,
as far as
okay.
proms, those kind of things.
Okay,
there.
performing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that is awesome. What positions did you play in football?
I played fullback and I played weak safety.
So you was a headhunter. You like to hit.
Yeah, but there had some people before me. Had some
Okay.
guys before me,
Okay.
but we were pretty strong back then.
Yeah.
Because I was playing when Charlie Peel and man, all of those guys, Richard Victoria,
Okay, that's my
Tony
uncle.
Williams, man,
Strong
strong
squad. So you had a lot.
Steve
to look
Marshall,
forward
all
to.
of these guys, we grew up watching them, and then we were kind of the practice guys.
Practice squad. Hey, that's important.
That's right, because
You got to give them the look.
That's right. That's
You
exactly
are just as
right.
important as the star on the team. That's what a lot of these young guys don't understand
That's right.
sometimes.
That's right.
They want to just wait until they're in the mix and done miss this whole opportunity to grow and be ready for that moment.
But
So,
Mr. Low Storms, he was our coach, so he knew when to put us in.
got you. He knew when it was time.
That's right. He knew it.
That's good. And you say you played basketball too?
Yes. Played basketball. Mr. Baker was here.
Okay.
Mr. Razor, he was my middle school coach, but he ended up coming to
Yeah.
South
Yeah, sure did.
afterwards. And so, but Mr. Baker was our coach there, and I played guard. I like to play more forward. I was a kind of a jumper.
Okay.
So,
Had some hops?
yeah.
Okay.
But they would put me at guard every now and then because, I don't know, I guess I could handle the ball a little
Handle the
bit.
ball. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So that's the athletic side. What was the building like? School. I know you come in here and it's
Yeah,
totally different.
yeah.
Took a tour not too long ago.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
was it? What did that do to you? Did that bring anything back?
Oh, most definitely. You go to even the structure of where the lockers are at. And then, we, like I said, we played basketball and things, so we thought that we knew that area.
Yeah.
But now that's kind of changed a little
It's
bit.
changed up. Yeah.
And so it most definitely was different. Walked the halls here, and boy, that was different too.
I bet. Yeah. They've covered some stairwells.
Sure, that's
around.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Real quick, what has noticeably changed from the community in our district from when you was there? What have you noticed that has gotten a lot better over time?
Well, back in our day, we thought it was better.
Right. Okay.
So to watch things, it seems like some things have become like they have made things a lot looser, I want to say.
Okay.
For lack of a better word. We were pretty structured back in the day there, especially with our parents.
Right.
And
So the neighborhood would raise you.
exactly. And they had no problem, the coaches had no problem getting in touch with your parents. Well, it's teachers. The teachers or the principals had no problem getting in touch with your parents if you weren't doing the things that you were or even if they thought that you were starting to hang around a group of people that they didn't feel that fit you.
Right.
They would put a bug in your parents' ears, and they would sit you down and say, "Hey, I don't know who you hanging
What's
around,
going
but if
on?"
once I got a call, then I'm gonna let you know that you probably need to change your surroundings."
So now we're kind of talking about kind of a lack thereof now is what we're missing that village
Right.
kind of right now
Most
that helps
definitely.
our young kids
Yes. Yeah.
to develop and help them help themselves sometimes.
Exactly.
Get them out their own way.
Exactly.
We need to do that better.
Yeah. I was up here, not here, but, I was dealing with South High School because I had a gospel choir here. I had a gospel choir at South and North. And then I developed a community gospel choir, but brought other young people in there. So I was up here as a volunteer doing music. I would they allowed me at least 3 or 4 classes. I would go on a certain Tuesday, and I would do that class of gospel music. It was volunteer. The kids didn't have to stay in there while I was there. They could. The teacher would get them something else to do while I was teaching the music. I was teaching songs that the kids gravitated to, and it kind of changed their perspective on things. It was getting a different style, a different type of music out that they normally wouldn't listen to, because I had parents come to me and say, why is my son or daughter so interested in this gospel music now? And so they would come to rehearsals that I would have at my church for various things that they were preparing for. But it also allowed them to be able to get more involved in our community.
Exactly.
Because we would have things early in the morning they were excited about being a part of. I had things on the weekends, whether it was at a church or a certain concert someplace, they would show up because they were excited about doing it. The parents didn't have to force them.
Right.
So it became a little more watching the kids being involved, didn't have a lot of the attitude, and wasn't about you talking back.
Right.
Back then, especially with my era, you wasn't thing about talking back. But when I was dealing with the young people, I let them know, look, I'm a volunteer. You can be here. You don't have to.
Right.
It's just that simple.
So you brought a passion
Yes.
that probably it still comes out of your pores when you talk about music. When did that passion for music really begin for you?
Whoa. Well, I guess when I really recognized that I was learning to play the piano. You know, this one thing, tinkering with it and not really knowing what it's really all about. I don't read music, I play by ear. I started playing when I was 6 years old. I watched my uncle, who wasn't a real piano player, but he would come over to our house and play a couple of little things there, and I would just follow him and kind of mimic him. And then Jimmy Foster, I don't know if you remember him or not, but he was a great organist. He would come by our house and he would play the organ or the piano at our home, and I just kind of, those kind of things kind of excited me. But then we had a number of bands back in the day and singing groups. So that brought a whole completely different era of not only musicians, but people that were using their instrument as far as their voice. And the harmony and the songs, you would hear the song on a 45 or LPM, then you see these guys that live in your town singing and stepping and doing all those things. That just became a whole nother excitement. So just in that era of watching these things develop kind of made me want more of it.
And explain to the youth what is a 45 and an LPM, because I'm sure they don't have any idea.
A 45 is a little record about that big. An album is about that wide right there. And that's what we played back when I was a young person coming up.
That's right.
We didn't have CDs and
No, they wouldn't even know how to operate that.
Matter of fact, my band, we re-recorded 2 45s back in the day, and they were for like $1.70.
Ooh, big bucks.
Big bucks.
Big
And
bucks.
we could hardly sell them. But now we still have 45s
That's awesome.
in the jackets, and we have collectors that call us. And some of these 45s are going for like $1,400.
That
We
is
had
awesome.
one on the auction that went for $2,800. We didn't know about it. Some people from New York and places called us to let us, because they wanted one of our 45s.
Yeah, they
We're
want
like,
one. Like, well, let me see what
we
the
thought they were
value is.
scammers.
Yeah.
When they were sharing with us about it and showing us, not just telling us about it, they showed us, your record just went for $2,800 at an auction.
That's amazing.
We like, what?
That is
They were
amazing.
sitting in our closets.
I know you got them out
You
now.
got them out now.
I bet. So, what's going on with you now? What's going on with you now? Where can people find you? What you're doing? Because I know you're still out here.
No.
I know you still you got it going on still.
Yeah,
so let them know.
Well, most definitely at my church, St. John Missionary Baptist Church. I just left there as we're doing a Wednesday walk-in service leading up to Resurrection
Okay.
Sunday.
All right.
So I just played there, but I play for a number of things right now. I don't think you'll have any problem finding me.
Right. Okay.
But I play with a little trio. It's called Champion City Trio. But I also have different bands they call. Bands now will call you up and say, "Hey, are you available this day or whatever?" And you say, "Yeah, I think I am." And
You
so
gonna get out
we
there.
ended up, and we don't practice that much because the songs, they're kind of like embedded in you now. You feel them opposed to just playing at them.
It's riding a bike.
Yep. But I'm a licensed minister at St. John. I'm also a minister of music there. I was an executive director for Metropolitan Housing, retired. My wife went through a cancer bout there. I was retired for about a year and a half. And then there was some residents from Tubman Towers found out that I was retired, and they had asked me if I would consider being manager there. So the 29th of March was 4 years for me.
Well, my last question, I always ask this to our featured alumnus. If you, right now, Mr. Par Toliver, could go back and talk to the young Par Toliver, what would be your advice?
Talking to the young Par Toliver.
The young Par Toliver. What would be your advice?
Find a passion for what you really want to achieve in your life, and go for it. Music was mine. Sports, I loved sports, but I graduated early, and we was like in football season there. But I was ready to get out of school, and but I put the time in summer schools. That's how I was able to graduate early. But I would say find out what your passion is, and then don't allow anybody else to tell you that you can't accomplish it, because you can. If you put the work in, you can do it. I have a number of friends. I was just telling someone about. I still call him Johnny. His name is John Legend. But I shared with some persons. They said, "Well, what's he like?" I said, "Johnny was a respectful, young, kind of laid-back person." And I dealt with him from an age of 11 to 16. And so I kind of saw myself in him as well. He's kind of like a son to me and my wife. But we had a number of young people that are just as talented and have various things that they have accomplished in their lives now, just as Johnny has. But they had a love for what they had a passion for what they wanted to go for. Johnny could have been at a Fortune 500 company right now, but his desire and his passion was music, and so he wanted to try that first. And that's my thing. People ask me, do I have a CD? I say, no, I do plan on recording one, or not even a CD now. It's whatever.
MP3s.
Whatever it is now. I don't even know how they sell their music sometimes.
Right.
But I do plan on doing a project.
Okay.
And I'm 66 now. And so I said I'm going to go ahead and do something just to kind of help complete who I am.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Mr. Par Toliver. Hey, I thank you. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you all for having me.
And remember, follow your passion.
Amen.
And we'll be right back on Cat Chat.
All right, welcome back to Cat Chat. For our Community Connection segment today, I am joined by Jim Putman, who is our Supervisor of Food and Nutrition Services here in the district, and Amy Stacy, who is our Chief Strategy Officer here in the district as well. And as we said earlier, we are springing into summer because, as always, we have a lot going on in our district. Always offering a lot of good programs, wraparound services for our students. And so that is why both of these guests have joined us today. We're really excited to provide this information to you guys. And it is a lot, and which is really exciting. And I'm really just going to kind of turn it over to them and let them talk about what it is that you guys can look forward to this summer. So Amy, I will actually kind of start with you. Let's talk about some programming that is available to our students here at the Dome. A lot of different stuff.
Sure. So every year we offer several different camps, 3 weeks of summer camps that are open to our students K through 6. Actually, our first week of camp is open a little wider, K through 8. It starts June 9th and runs through June 27th, 3 weeks of camp. The first week of camp is an art camp, and so students learn about a play. It's the Treasure Island play, and so a company comes in, Missoula Children's Theater, and they teach the kids in a week an entire play, and then the kids put it on. It's pretty impressive. Everyone has a great time. We even get littles out on the stage floor, and a lot of times it's the first time students have ever been in a theater. We have an amazing theater with the John Legend Theater, and so they get to experience that. And then after that week, there's 2 weeks of STEAM camp, and they just run through different type of science type activities, have a great time. Camp runs 9 to 3:30. Breakfast and lunch is served by my friend Jim's team. And we just really enjoy, we have students who come year over year who enjoy it, and we have some great mentors, and really just experience what it is to be at the Dome.
And obviously, you know, we have talked so much on this show about the programming that we offer here at the Dome throughout the school year. And so what a great continuation for those who are regulars or those who maybe have never experienced it before but want to jump in. Yeah. Also talk about, you know, just that experiential learning and that, you know, STEM learning that we're always trying to build here. You know, if you could speak a little to that, how we have really focused on that and, you know, wanted to build it into the summer.
Yeah, so students who have an opportunity to come here, they really enjoy the hands-on learning. I think our mentors do a wonderful job of thinking about what would get kids excited to learn. And so they're building something all the time. In past years, they've done ice cream. They learn how to create and carve out boats and see which boat can travel the fastest or the farthest. They've done bridges. So it's all about how can I create, fail, and then try again, and then show growth. And so we're really trying to get kids to understand that failing is part of growth, and it's okay. We all do it, and there's many ways that we can be involved in the sciences. And it's just an exciting way for them to see that not getting it right the first time is okay.
Well, and I just really appreciate all of the different experiences that they're able to have, right? Because so many of those things, you know, they may not be ever exposed to throughout their lifetime. And they can have it here, right in their own backyard, right in their own school district. How incredible. Jim, I kind of want to turn it over to you just for a second to talk about our summer food program, because it's also a critical component of what we do here. Could you first just describe a little bit about the need for it?
Sure. Summer program is meant to bridge the gap between the end of school and the beginning of school. So there's, you know, there are a significant number of our students that rely on us for their meals. You know, maybe entirely or at least in part. So the summer kind of provides a desert of availability for the things that we have. So part of what my mission is part of Springfield Food Service is to kind of address the needs that we have. So you talked about summer programming that we have within the district. That's one half of what we do during the summer. We provide meals at no cost to all students for breakfast and for lunch. And then the other half of it, or the other part of what we are looking to grow and what we kind of started last year, is going outside of our schools, is going to where the kids are, going to the large apartment complexes, parks, things like that, and trying to serve there. So that is it's a new program that we instituted last year. It's kind of a different version of summer food than what we've done in the past, and the goal is to, like I said, expand what we do for the kids in district and then go to where our kids are in Springfield. The limitations of what we're able to do, we haven't met yet. So where we're trying to go is to expand and to get to as many places as we can. I would say anybody who's listening to this, if you have a prospective site that you'd like us to look into, we do have some parameters and things that we have to fit with it, but we would love to hear from the people of Springfield where they feel kids congregate in the summer, where we could effectively reach them. And like I said, the goal is to move forward. We used the library last year. We went to a couple apartment complexes. We had a joint partnership with Springfield Police and did the substation. So like I said, we're kind of at the point where we are just trying to expand and to do more and to do as much as we possibly can. And that's kind of the goal of Springfield Nutrition Services is we're not going to stand pat. We're going to do what we need to do to advance everything forward, get better stuff out there.
What do you feel like some of the most successful points of your program last year in the summer were, or some of the best high points for you? Obviously, to say, yeah, we want to do this again. We thought this was a good move.
Absolutely. So probably the most successful sites that we had would be the main branch library downtown. We served anywhere from 30 to upwards of 50 kids there. Each time we plan it and kind of piggyback on programming that they already have. So they have standardized programming that will be happening every day at a certain time, and then we kind of go afterwards. So that worked really well. The biggest site that we served was Ronez, which is an apartment complex pretty close to the high school. We started out there in the, I would say, 40s and got to almost 100 kids by the end of the summer. I personally witnessed kids coming running for the van and being very excited to do some food with us. So that type of a situation, that type of a place are the places that we're looking to go. We're going to expand into more of them. And so there's from summer to summer, participation kind of varies in some spots. So it's about finding places where people are. So again, we're always willing to take suggestions or to try to find new locations that'll work, because we've got thousands and thousands of kids in this city, and we need to do what we can to get to them.
So for those who are unfamiliar with, what this looks like at the ground level, can you just explain, I'm a kid, I want to participate, or I'm a parent, I want my child to participate in this program. What does that look like for us as we kind of interact with it? Sure.
So the way that Summer Food Service works, and the program is a federal program, so it runs alongside the same thing as the National School Lunch Program, which is what we use to do breakfast and lunch at the school level. So that program basically has a few rules. So what it would look like to come up to the service: number one, it's open to anybody 18 and under, regardless of income or anything. Basically, if you're 18 or under and you want to come get a lunch or a breakfast, if it's available in the area that you're at, you are more than welcome to do that. The only restrictions that we have is that the meal has to be consumed on site, and really what we try to do is in places where there isn't seating, we bring tables and benches and hopefully some canopies this year so people don't melt. And
fabulous.
But I think one of the places we're looking to go this year is the splash pad at Snyder Park. So we're trying to get to some places where people can hang out for long periods of time during the summer. But again, like I said, it's open to anybody. All of our sites will be open sites, which means that they aren't restricted to certain groups of kids or whatever. Basically, we'll take care of you if you show up. And so, like, the meal is roughly the same as what the students would get for lunch. It's an entree, fruit, vegetable, and a milk. What we try to do is I try to pick all of the things that I know are popular. So one of the things that we've done this year or last year and kind of going into this year is we've formed a partnership with Pizza Hut. So we use things like Pizza Hut during the summer so that it's something that is exciting.
Yeah.
And then we use and include things that are like slushies and some of the fruits and vegetables that we're using. We have an emphasis on fresh, raw things, and giving kids dipping sauces because they love dipping sauces. And so it's a matter of trying to meet the kids where they are, give them food that they can count on, give them food that is consistent. It's things that they're used to. It's things that they've seen throughout the year, and just trying to, like I said, we're trying to get them through the summer so that in the fall we can see them again.
When should people expect a finalized list of sites and times, and we can point them in the right direction?
Sure. It is kind of fluid at this moment. Usually these things kind of require getting permissions and things like that. So right now we're still formulating exactly where we will be. But I would say pretty confidently that we can have all of that stuff available by the 1st of May. We'll have it in flyer form. We'll have it on the website. We will do whatever we can to blast that out to everybody so that they know where we're at. There's also, if you go to the Ohio Department of Education's website, which is where this is funded through, they will provide a map of all of the locations throughout the entire state. So you can go there to figure out what the sites are, when they're open, what meals they serve, and usually you get some sort of contact information if you have questions.
Fantastic.
Sure.
Amy, let me turn it back over to you because you have more to share about Right at School. First, give people just a little bit of context about what Right at School is and our relationship to it.
Sure. Right at School is our before and after school care program. And we have programming in every one of our elementaries, so they handle students kindergarten through 6th grade. Right now they're open from 6:30 until school starts, and then after school until about 6 p.m. And so we have partnered with them. This is our 2nd year. It grew this year from 5 sites to 10 sites, so every building has one. And then what we also have partnered over this will be our 2nd year, is with our summer programming. So we will have 2 locations this summer, Lagunda and Kenwood, where families can do a more consistent summer care program. And they do activities with the students, and they're open from 7 until 6 p.m. So it gives working families something for their children to do. You can sign them up for week segments all summer long, starting June 3rd through August 1st. And it costs about $25 a week. And so that programming will, similar to Jim, we're working through all of the logistics of it. And so we will launch that probably in May for families to sign up and get engaged in. But last year we had close to 200 children take advantage of it across the district. Again, they'll have breakfast and lunch served by Jim's team, and just gives kids an opportunity to get out and do stuff and not just kind of hang at home all summer long. It's got enrichment activities. There's a theme for each week, and we've had a really great experience with Right at School.
Amy, could you touch on a little bit, why is it not only important to engage in those types of activities, but also maintain a relationship with the school district during the summer? Instead of, hey, see you, we're out in May, we'll see you again in August. What's the benefit of staying connected?
I think students enjoy seeing their friends, seeing different groups of people. There's enrichment activities, and when you aren't continually using your, brain power, you tend to go into what we call the summer slide, and it's just good to keep kids using and interacting with students in a constructive manner.
Is there anything that either of you had planned to share that you would like to, that I didn't ask about any of the programs that you talked about today?
We didn't mention that the Dome programming, Adventure Cove, will launch on April 15th. So you'll see that information out through social media as well. And then the other summer program will launch just probably about 2 or 3 weeks after, for the beginning of May.
Awesome.
Our dates for the program in general are, I think it is June 2nd until the very end of July, or maybe the 1st of August. So we're open all summer, with the exception of the 4th of July and Juneteenth. Those are the only 2 days that we wouldn't be out serving. So we are, if you don't get us at the beginning, by all means, find somewhere where we're at.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate both of your time for coming on Cat Chat today. We will have all of the information that's talked about today as we get closer to summer into our summer in the SCSD tab on the website. And so if you miss it here, you can also check it out there as we get closer to the end of the school year. Jim and Amy, thank you again so much. And we will be right back with more Cat Chat. And we're almost done with Cat Chat April, Chris. That
Yes,
is
we
all
are.
of our guests.
That is it. It was a great show too. I really
thought so,
enjoyed
too.
talking to Parr. He probably could have went on for another 45 to 2 hours.
I'm bummed he didn't play for us.
I know, but you know, I figured he wasn't gonna bring in his whole shebang and let loose. So
He could have rolled in the piano.
yeah.
We got one in the hallway.
We could have. Maybe we needed to
Next
prep
time.
a little better.
Next time.
Have a piano up here and just reaching over talking to the camera so when he comes
In
he can
between
play. Yeah.
keys.
We'll be right back on Catch Head, and he just start playing. Play us in the commercial.
No, I thought he was great.
No, yeah.
I love to hear him play when I'm like out and about.
Yeah.
And him and his group are out.
Yeah.
That's always cool.
He's tough. I really enjoyed listening to him, and he talked about one of those talked about the village, how we need to. Would be nice to see that village back to help our youth. That's when they're outside and doing their thing. Trying to keep them reeled in and keep them calm and listening. But great interview. It was an honor. How about yours?
Well, I will always celebrate the School of Innovation and all of the things that they're doing. But it was just cool to hear both of the students that we had talk about the different things that they want to do with drones and the different things that they've learned and why they decided to get interested, because I think it just showed that it's not linear. You know what I mean? It's not unilateral. It's just such a diverse career field, right? And you can use it for so many different things. So I thought that was really cool. And you could see that they were really interested in it. You know what I mean? Like they were genuinely intrigued and learning about it and growing. So I thought that was great. I'm excited to see what they do with it. That's still more than I can do with a drone. So shout out to y'all.
Shout out. I mean, there's a lot of jobs that are looking for people that can fly drones for action scenes and stuff, flying those cameras. So a lot of employment involved with that. So yeah.
Our one student, Ace, said that they want to do it for police work. I was like, okay, that's unique.
We'll be flying around being nosy on some stuff, huh?
I guess finding the missing.
Yeah.
I liked it. I was
Finding
like,
it.
You don't hear of it every day.
No, you
I
don't.
thought that was really interesting.
Cool.
So really liked that. And then, as we're just getting so much closer to summer, like all of the stuff that's going to be going on here, it's never quiet here.
Yeah.
So putting it out to the people, where to find all the summer stuff. You got to wait and go on to Summer in the SCSD on our website, and we'll have all of the summer offerings, the food program, the Adventure Cove here at the Dome.
You already know.
Right at school, all of our athletic camps. It's all going to be in one nice place for you.
Summertime.
Shades on. It'll be here before you know it.
That's right.
Summer break.
Well, let's get closer and end this show.
Let's get closer.
And get to the next one. Let's get closer to summer.
Well, Chris, this is our last episode of the school year, too, in our studio.
Yeah.
Because you know what next month is?
We going to the high.
It's our on-location senior spotlight.
Going to the high, baby. We'll be at the Wildcat Country. Checking out all the madness. Good madness. Calm madness. But high school kids.
Yeah, gonna
around
be-
a bunch of them. You know how it goes.
No, I don't. I think, could you do it again? Next month is our senior spotlight episode.
Yes.
Last year, if you remember, Zoe interviewed all of our seniors
Killed
that
it.
were going off into the world to go be great.
Yep.
And now Zoe is going to be one of the seniors, and we're going to do it all over again.
It will be a surprise person. Can't tell you who yet.
Yep.
But there'll be somebody there.
We're going to have our seniors and celebrate them as they enter their next phase of life.
Welcome. Bills is due.
So, okay. You gotta have good cop, bad cop, I guess.
I guess so.
The
But
celebration and the reality.
But the bill is due. The bill is due
So you guys can look for that next month.
next month.
But as for April, we're out, y'all. We'll see you next month.
Peace.
See ya.